Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
James,
All right.
you owe me a Pepsi.
Tonight on Stumbling Down Road, we're going to be talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I am Jackson. On the phone, I got two people, if you want to introduce yourself.
I am Jay.
Hello.
I've known Jackson for a very long time.
Hello, I am Brian.
Next to
Hi,
me.
I'm Garrett.
D.
All right. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
No,
Super-
okay.
We're doing the
Super
British
Samurai Turtles of Japan.
Yes.
one. Samurai Pizza Cats.
I feel like we have to start off with a little bit of like, what are they, just in case somehow you don't know what they are.
I mean,
it's
it's
in
pretty
the name.
self-explanatory. They're teenaged, they're mutant, they're ninjas.
They're ninjas.
And they're turtles.
And the turtles.
But I mean,
it's
they
there.
could
I mean,
they could be mercenaries,
we
but
could
they're
end the
not.
podcast
They're
there.
heroes.
they're heroes. Yes.
As the
Yes.
Brits like to call
They're
them.
heroes in a half shell.
Turtle power.
Well, it does depend. A group of mothers thought they were quite violent and therefore needed to be toned down a bit. But we'll get there eventually.
Well, actually, I mean, in the beginning,
In the
the
beginning.
original, in the beginning, when you're beginning at the beginning, the
In
original.
the comics, they were quite violent.
Exactly.
Yes, they
yeah.
were.
They were.
In
They
fact-
were very
Yeah.
violent in the beginning.
In fact, we have issue number 10 right here.
Yeah, when the comic first started, it was supposed to be considered as a dark comic.
A very
Yes.
infamous cover of one of the turtles fighting Shredder. This
Which,
is actually his first cover appearance.
my third favorite cousin.
That would
Got me this as a
be
gift.
Raphael.
At the time, I don't believe that they were actually
That's Raphael.
At the time, I don't believe they were individualized based off of their head, based off the bandana, because that didn't come until the the cartoon.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think they all were kind of just like neutral colors.
The
Yeah,
initial
they were
run
all
was, yes, they were all
four
the same color.
red bandanaed, same green turtles, and the comic was in
Yep.
black and white.
Or black
Yep.
and red, depending on
And
the
red all
publisher.
over.
They would use red ink in some versions. Fun fact.
Yes.
I mean, it was self-published, but sure.
So I guess we'll get it started. In 1984, the comic came to life
Big
by.
Brother.
I'm sorry.
1984. Big Brother. No.
So yes, so
The turtles are always watching.
The turtles are
The
watching.
turtles are.
I think we should start a little bit further
Sure.
than that.
Fine.
I think we should start off with how the Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman kind of like just met up by chance and just sort of grew into this like bromance that could not be separated
Romance.
up
Yeah, so
until, you know,
Do
like
you want to
2000.
know how they financed it?
They took a loan. They took a loan from their
A
uncle.
tax refund and a family loan.
Yep. And that's how they got their first initial print run of the 3,275 first issue number 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And then immediately got an order for 15,000 copies.
Depending on who you talk to,
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, I mean, after the first one, the second one, they had an order for.
But yeah, they kind of just like formed this bromance immediately. Peter's 7 years older than Kevin, so you know a little bit of a
Robin the Cradle.
robbing the cradle.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
the story.
they started this. They moved in together, and they started this. You can call it a comic studio. You can call it a comic studio, but it's sort of a comic studio
And they're-
called Mirage Studios in their house.
Yeah, and in their words, they say that they called it Mirage Studio because it was a mirage. The concept, the idea of it was just it was a mirage. There was nothing actually to it. It was just them in a room drawing, and they called it a studio.
But Kevin, he was working at a grocery store. He moved out into the same town. I want to say it's in Maine
Somewhere made, yeah.
with Peter Laird, and by chance, he just happened to meet up with Kevin Eastman, their girlfriends or something like that, mutual friends.
I think they kind of just hit it off over their mutual love for
Jack Kirby.
and
They were both huge comic guys. Jack Kirby was like God, still very much, and Peter Laird had a Jack Kirby original artwork in like the living room, effectively, and it kind of just like sparked this comic book love bromance. So they move in together. They start the studio. They hit it off. Peter Laird is doing little comic strips for local newspapers. He's barely making money. Kevin is working at a grocery store. They're just, putzing around with Mirage Studios. Their first failed attempt was Fugitoid.
Yeah, a robot that they sent in to a couple of publishers, and nobody was interested in it at all. And one night they were kind of just really like how it came to be is they were just kind of fucking around,
Trying to make each other laugh.
trying to
Kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, trying to come up with some goofy ass
Yeah.
stuff to make
Make
to
some
make a
people
comic
laugh.
out of, and they came up with the idea for a turtle.
Kevin drew a Ninja Turtle,
Yep.
and then Peter drew one back, and then Kevin drew the four of them together and said Ninja Turtles, and Peter put the Teenage Mutant on top, and
Hence it was
they just kind of couldn't stop, laughing to each other and turned one inside joke into a silly little comic book, which, again, there was only 3,275 of the first copy, which, if you happen to have one, by the love of God, get it graded and hold on to that, because that is your retirement.
Well, not necessarily, because I just looked it up a little while ago. There's one selling online, the first edition. It's $700 or best offer.
Can they prove that it's a first copy?
I mean, I don't know what the provenance
Because
is
it might just
behind
be the
but-
first issue and not a
Promenade.
first copy.
I don't know about the provenance.
Promenade. Sorry.
It might just be a first issue and not a first copy.
Well, I don't, yeah, maybe it's a reprint, probably.
Because those first copies are insane. We've been speaking a little bit. Where do you guys start on your Ninja Turtle journey? Fun people.
Huey, Mr. Bride.
Oh, I was born the year the first movie came out. I grew up watching the cartoon and those three first live action movies.
And for you, Brian?
I was the same. I grew up watching the cartoon and then watching the first Ninja Turtle movies.
Well, Bride, you were bored a little bit before us, so...
Yes.
You really watched it rise, effectively.
I mean, yeah, in your adolescence, it was coming into life. I mean, in '84, how old were you?
You don't have to
I
answer
was
that. By law, you
4,
don't
but
have
when
to
the
answer that.
cartoon came out, it was 1987, so I was 7, so I was
Yes.
watching them Saturday mornings along with G.I. Joe, He-Man, and other cartoons, so...
So,
So you really did like
It
grow
was-
up with it and let it become your
I
childhood.
grew up with it.
Yeah, so you...
Yes.
I was 5, so I kind of sort of remember that, but like not fully. I kind of first got my first real dive into it in '90 when the first movie came out. I was 8 years old, and I remember going to watch that movie with my best friend at the time, and the Toys R Us was across the parking lot from the movie theater, and we went straight from the movie theater right to
miss
Toys R Us. And I remember being so bummed because my buddy was with his mom, and she bought him so many cool fucking Ninja Turtles, and I was like, I didn't get any Ninja Turtles. I was so bummed.
I think I have some stuff like hidden away. Nothing's worth anything anymore because they reprinted that stuff into the ground.
So I know part of like the initial toy run, they had the Technodrome, the sewer. They had, obviously all
Those
four
things are worth money.
all four of the Ninja Turtles. They had
The van.
Shredder, the van.
Yep.
They had Splinter and
They
a
had
foot
the-
soldier.
yeah.
That was like the initial setup. And I
Yep.
think they also had Bebop and Rocksteady as part of the initial, or was that after the movie?
That was after the movie.
Fun
because
fact.
No, that was during the cartoon. Bebop and Rocksteady were in the original cartoon.
Yeah, but I don't know if they.
So
if
the
they,
toys
The
is
toys.
what I
are-
asked.
The toy
So
line.
wait.
They had the toys later
One at
in
a
years
time.
of them, maybe in early 90s.
I think after the second movie came out, they started to push the Bebop and Rocksteady because that's what they introduced him in the second movie.
Yeah.
So, fun fact.
And another big thing, with all the collaborations they used to do even back in the 90s,
Oh yeah, these
half the
guys are
toys you
huge
could
on
transform.
collaborations. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
some of them transformed into their own fucking vehicles.
Yeah.
D, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
So interesting tidbit, but a lot of people attribute the cartoon to giving the turtles their color schemes. It was actually the toy run initially before the cartoon that gave them the color. They gave them individual color schemes. It wasn't until the cartoon where they got more individualized personalities based off specialty traits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, 'cause they
a
wanted
lot of
to
people
try and-
thought it was the cartoon though that gave them their colors, but no, it was actually the toys before that.
Yeah, because they wanted to try and like individualize them, like
Sell
you
you
said.
4 different toys.
Exactly, they had to
Well, I
sell
thought
them.
the toys didn't come out until 1988.
So the toys came out with the cartoon effectively, but yes, depending on where you were located, you were able to get like early release toys because that's how it works.
Right.
They have to like slowly
Yeah.
distribute things out, but it wasn't like widespread distribution until '88. But they had a 5-part cartoon series, a little short-run cartoon, in order to actually help promote the comic book. But we should talk a little bit about how, like I said, how it started with just this
The story?
just like this super violent parody, effectively, of like
It was
comics
supposed
at
to be
the
Daredevil,
time.
specifically Daredevil.
Daredevil and the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Because you can see a lot of the Dark Knight poses from Frank Miller in the initial Turtle run. But it didn't actually like get a cartoon until like '87, which is issue number 10 of this, because it was all self-printed, it was all self-published, and it was just two dudes hanging out and making fucking turtles, you know?
I had another one, but I just lost it.
Yeah.
But
Fuck, what was
there was
it?
a guy, Mark Friedman.
yeah.
He, saw the Ninja Turtles and kind of just saw how popular they could be, and he helped basically bring them to, not basically, he did. He brought them to all the different toy manufacturers out there, and it wasn't until Playmates, one of his last chances to actually even get a cartoon toy run. Yeah, that's the one. But they wanted a cartoon with it, just because, how are we going to market a violent ninja comic as a kid's toy? And they were,
Yeah.
loosely American based. They had one big toy for Playmates in America, and then that was really about it. But it was this Hong Kong based, just kind of like trying to get it going. And that toy was Cricket, a little Cricket doll. But this changed the life of Playmates. I mean, in 1990, they had sold over $1.1 billion worth of toys.
Yeah, between 88 and 92.
Yeah.
I think
And don't forget, that's 1990.
They were the third.
I actually
They were the
just looked it
third
up 'cause I was-
grossing.
that
They were the third grossing toy behind GI Joe and Star Wars at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and as Dee pointed out, so $1.1 billion in 1992 is approximately $2.1 billion now.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they were
Yeah.
moving,
Well,
like
but-
the units that they moved were insane.
between the
Yeah.
actual characters, the vehicles, the cityscape, the technodrone, it was nuts.
I mean, and then they
I
started
think
putting
the
them in.
only other thing comparable in the 80s would be He-Man.
Yeah.
Toy sales.
So,
And
David-
wrestling too. The wrestling figures were big then.
Yeah.
So
They were all
Wrestling's
based
always
all around the same action toys.
So I believe it was David Wise who did both He-Man and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to really get these toys launched. I don't want to be quoted on that. I believe it was David Wise. I know that the same guy who basically modeled and created He-Man created or really took over the run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and turned them into what they are. So we should talk a little bit about the Turtles themselves. Does anybody want to go over who they are and a little bit of their personality?
So there's the 4 initial main turtles and their master. There's Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. The master is Splinter, and depending on the continuity, he's either a guy turned into a rat turned into a bigger rat, or just something else sometimes entirely. It's weird.
Yeah, his,
Well, in the original cartoon, he was a man turned into a rat.
Yep.
In the movie, the first movie, he was a rat owned by his master, who mimicked his master's fighting
Yes,
skills. When Shredder comes, kills his master, that's when he cuts Shredder's face. So he was already a rat, and then becomes a man rat.
because
Rat
yeah,
Man.
But again, do we want to talk?
doesn't he get some sort of like he gets like an ooze, some sort of the ooze, something turns him into a rat.
TRCI.
The same
That was
ooze.
the
Yeah, it was always
That was the chemical.
ooze, yes.
So, fun fact about the thing that turns them in the Marvel continuity, the accident that makes them into the Mutant Ninja Turtles
is the same one that blinds up Daredevil.
Daredevil, yes.
Because
Interesting.
of how because of how linked they are just between the creators Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and like Daredevil as a whole. Because I'm just gonna run by a little bit of what they are, right? We have Master Splinter, who was based off of Stick, Daredevil's master. We have the Foot Clan to parody the Hand, the main antagonizing clan of ninjas that Daredevil fights. Like, really? You're gonna make that big of a freaking parody? And then you also have the acid or the chemical that blinds Daredevil and gives him superhero senses and turns these guys into mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean,
Don't get me wrong, it works. But like,
considering that Marvel, DC, Mortal Kombat.
yes,
Ninja
I'm
Turtle-
aware everybody steals off of each other.
No,
Yeah, I
they're
mean, it's
all
all-
technically
but it's
one
all-
giant multiverse
it's
anyway.
all, yeah, it's all like it's all exactly.
For
so
all
I
intents
think,
and purposes,
because even like if
they
you go
Tommy
with like
Westfeld that shit.
even like because like the Flash and
The Wizard.
The Wizard.
I love the Wizard.
no the Flash and then
Do we have
Quicksilver?
the Green Lantern. They were going after like this. They have like kind of like the same enemies and shit that they're fighting and stuff, and they're going after that same what the heck is that medallion thing or whatever.
So, hear me out. They are actually in the same universe. Whereas the Ninja Turtles are like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I think somebody would just found that connection and was like, let's make this a fucking like a crossover type thing.
Well,
Like I don't think Eastman and Laird were sitting there like, oh, we're gonna bite off a Daredevil completely and just turn this into.
No, they knew that they were making parodies at the start. Also, spoiler alert of issue number 1, they kill Shredder.
Oh,
In
yeah,
case
they
nobody
fought-
read the issue number 1
Yeah.
comic, they kill Shredder. Sorry, guys. I don't know how he
He
comes
gets better,
back.
though.
Yeah. He was in a healing coma.
He
Sorry.
gets better though.
Sorry, Superman.
I don't know how I don't know how you get better from a decapitation.
Decapitation!
Because they give him the choice to either commit harikiri or they just cut him down, and he's like, nah. So they cut off his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I had asked somebody to go through like a little bit of the personality of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
I can
I'll do that
Okay.
if you guys want.
Jay, if you want to get to Brian, if you want to get the other two, just because.
Sure.
Sure. I'll do Leonardo and Raphael. The
two
best
are-
stick measuring contest that every
Also, the two best.
if you were a
characters.
kid, you were either playing. If you were a kid, you were either playing Leonardo or Raphael in the schoolyard.
Michelangelo was the fucking shit.
Leo is the
We get it, you stoner.
blue bandana, katana wielding. Now, depending on what continuity you watch, Leo either has one katana or two.
or no Dachi.
The quote unquote leader, which changes once or twice in continuity. The more mature one that follows Master Splinter's teachings.
Much more dedicated.
You're much more dedicated to training. Boring, depending on the cartoons that you watch. Raphael is the hard-headed, hot-headed, blood-boiling. He's the shonen anime character. He's the one that screams a lot, uses size, wears a red bandana.
Yeah, he is kind of a shonen protagonist.
At one
isn't
point, becomes. At one point, spoilers, does become the head of the Foot Clan after they kill Shredder.
he? Would that make Leonardo an isekai protagonist
Pretty much.
by personality?
Brian, do you want to get the other two for me?
Yeah, Michelangelo. I think they try to make Michelangelo more around like a teenage kid attitude because he was the party dude, loved eating pizza, playing video games,
Cowabunga,
skateboarding.
dude.
He was the more laid back out of all the turtles because I think they try to revolve around, they were still teenagers. They were around like 14, 15 years old. So I guess they were trying to make him like the typical teenager. Then you had Donatello, who basically was the book nerd, scientist. He wielded the bow, the staff bow. So he was always playing with computers. He actually invented all their technology, the turtle van, and all their weapons for them.
Did you say what Mikey used?
Nunchucks.
Or a grappling hook, depending on if you're in
Oh, the
Britain.
grappling hook, yeah.
So
Oh, fun
Yeah.
fact about Mike Donatello, the smart one, in the 2018 continuity, he's actually autistic too.
So
Interesting
it sounds like we have a Fred, we have a Velma, and we have a Shaggy. Just based off their personalities, you know.
Would that make Raphael
Yeah.
Daphne?
Yeah.
I don't know about Daphne.
No, Scruffy dude.
Yes, Scrappy.
No,
He's Scrappy.
so
But see, it's hard in the original cartoon in '87, because in the beginning they all had around the same type of attitude. Like they all love pizza. They're all like little too kiddish, always playing around, always fucking up a little bit. It wasn't until later on in
Where
like
they
later
actually-
series,
Where they actually matured
yeah,
their
defined
personalities
like
a
they
little
all
bit.
had a different type of Because that I
Yeah.
noticed in later series, like, okay, this one more had an identity, between Leonardo being more of a leader, Raphael being, always pissed off because Leonardo was the leader, but he was still a tough guy, and he always had to show it off.
so
Do we want to talk about the
Now-
fifth turtle?
well,
Wait, hold on.
well,
There's
Fifth one was
multiple
actually,
turtles.
it was supposed to be a fifth turtle who was a girl,
yeah.
and when Splinter gathered up the original Ninja Turtles, he left her behind.
This is next mutation continuity, by the way, and that's Venus de Milo.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's also
Who used a bunch of weapons.
There's also the one that's actually.
I believe that was like part of the Saban run, right? Didn't Saban have a little bit to do with that?
They actually
Yeah.
brought back Venus de Milo.
Yeah,
kinda.
Saban had. Yeah,
Yes.
and the new kind, was it Boom? It's not Venus. She's got a different name now, and she's using like Wolverine claws.
Well, no,
Yeah.
they actually brought in another one. That there's the female who was turned from a human into a turtle, and she was former Foot Clan.
Yeah.
She's not Kirari, she's something else. But no, they have another new one who seems to be like a patchwork, almost Frankenstein, and has like a dragon scale or something like that that gives her the mystic powers. And that one's kind of supposed to be
Oh.
Venus de Milo. She just premiered like 6 or 7 months ago, or was just the design was.
I go.
Did we talk about
There's
I
also
would like to
Casey
make an
Jones
interesting
and
fact.
April O'Neil, the two human side characters too. While we're at it,
I was gonna say, did we
Yes.
mention Bay?
So
Casey Jones.
All right, Bay
Casey
Turtle.
Jones is Bay.
Action.
What?
Yeah, because I know they tried to introduce more of the girl Ninja Turtles when they actually did the live action series in '97,
Yeah, next mutation.
and she had like a lighter blue bandana compared to Raphael, which was a little bit more darker. I mean, Leonardo.
Yeah. They gave her questionable features.
Turtle
Yeah.
titties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, it's still better than the actual
Now,
duck tits
fun
from Howard the
fact:
Duck.
someone found her actor suit a couple years ago.
Wait, what?
Really?
Needs a lot of needs a lot of patchwork, but someone's working on it. I could attempt to find who has it now, but they were digging out a bunch of stuff and found her.
Jesus.
Huh. Neat.
So, who is April O'Neil? I heard somebody mention April O'Neil and Casey Jones. Who are they?
So, I guess I'll
Go
take
ahead.
it. So April O'Neil is a reporter. She works for the local news, and she kind of stumbles across the Ninja Turtles. I believe she's being mugged or something. She's being like harassed or mugged or something, and the Ninja Turtles save her.
It depends on the continuity.
Yeah, I think she's something else in the original, but yeah.
So then, they save her and they take a liking to her. She's one of the only, aside from Casey Jones, that they actually let into the lair. They let her, be a part of their lives. Really, the only human that actually sees them, do what they do.
As they are.
Yeah, exactly, as they are.
Yeah.
They're, I guess,
Oh yeah.
the
Okay.
lowest lane to Superman.
Weird way to describe that, especially considering some of the one of them has romantic interest in her.
Canonically, hold on. I have to say this. Canonically, there is an interview when they had turtle people dressed up for an
Oh, are you doing the Oprah one? Oh my God,
an
yo.
Oprah Winfrey
Yo, that-
interview, and canonically, they all showed interest in April.
But no, wait. The best one is I think it was Michael. I don't remember which one they asked. But when they asked him, he's like one of the first things he asked her was how long can she hold her breath. I'm not even fucking
Yep.
joking. How long can you hold your breath? Which means a few different things.
So I just want to go back.
She
a
just
little
couldn't
bit.
hold her breath long enough.
If you guys don't mind, I just want
No,
to
I mind.
All right, cool.
Go ahead.
So being that Jackson minds, I'm definitely going back. So they say that they're teenage. Obviously, it's in the name. They're all found as little turtles, but they don't really specify age as far as like if one of them is who's older, who if maybe
Leonardo's the older one.
They would-
Leonardo's the older one.
So it is mapped out, kind of like not just based off of how they are portrayed as their character and the personality. It is that Michelangelo is actually the kid brother, and then work their way up. So all right, I didn't know if it was actually just based off of personality or if there was actually a time frame or a time I might have missed it.
If they're supposed to be an age, I think they're supposed to be between like 14 to 16 years old, and they specify Leonardo is the older one. That's why they make him basically like the leader, because he's supposed to be the older one.
Wait
more
a minute,
responsible.
Wouldn't they be from the same clutch of eggs?
Yeah.
Should we?
Because I think in the timeline, it's supposed to be like Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and then Michelangelo, according to like who was born first.
Yeah.
I know in
Or
some
who
versions
hatched
they're different
first.
species, but in some versions I know they're
Yeah.
brother. So wouldn't they be the same clutch of eggs? So they'd all be the same age.
So I don't even actually.
I don't
know-
think that's
Well,
how
I
turtles.
guess in a sense, that's what I said. Who hatched first?
So
guess.
did we actually ever? Did we? I don't think we actually fully spoke. I know we brushed over the
Shredder?
the train wreck and all that other stuff, but we never really actually specified how what happened with the train wreck and how that happened.
Go ahead.
So an old man was crossing the path, and I believe somebody stopped him, and the train carrying the ooze spilled out onto the turtles, and then that's how they got exposed to the ooze, pretty much.
Again, depends on the continuity, but yeah.
Yeah, in the cartoon, I think it was already in the sewer. And when the kid's leaving the pet store with the bowl of the turtles, something happens. He trips and fucking the bowl hits the fucking street. All the turtles go down into the sewer. And that's when Splinter comes along, finds the turtles. He goes into the ooze while grabbing up the turtles and then
that's
takes
how-
them away, in which the ooze transforms them all. That's in the cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't remember the origin story too much in the comic book.
So, I know that there's a couple of different runs of comic books, a couple different cartoons, and we'll, talk over them. If we have to get to a second episode, I'm cool with that. This is, for only being around since '84, this is a very long and in-depth, just cultured history because of how immensely popular they were.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the fact that they were on stage doing concerts.
Yeah.
We haven't talked
We
about-
haven't talked about so much stuff. There's so many things we haven't even unfolded.
But how many people have actually read part of the initial Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics? Have any of you guys?
No.
I read them
I have
a
not.
little bit when I was when I was younger, and now I'm like rereading what what they have now.
Yeah. So,
Baxter Stockman's a psychopath.
yes, that is another villain. There's a couple main villains. The main villain is Shredder, like their arch nemesis. He's this shonen looking, daimyo looking weird guy, depending on which continuity. In other cases, he's, you know, like a almost puppet type thing based off of the same type of alien that Krang is from. In other ones, you know, Krang, he's this weird, almost octopus, I would describe him.
He's a brain.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, he's got like
Yeah,
appendages.
he's supposed to be an alien, though. An alien brain or something.
He's some sort of brain with like
with
I
like
guess he's
weird,
like a-
almost like octopus, like tentacle
I'd say he's
esque
the-
things, right?
I'd say he's the original meatwad.
Reference.
Hey.
Aqua Teen Hunger
Yeah.
Force. And then Baxter Stockton, he's kind of like almost like a Lex Luthor.
fly?
You know, for the life of me, I can't think of a Family Guy Ninja Turtles joke.
Well, not with that attitude. But we've got these guys, and then we also have Bebop and Rocksteady, who grew immensely popular because of the cartoon. They are just... Go ahead.
Oh, there's a,
So they work for Shredder, right?
they work for Shredder. Yes.
Yeah.
So
They
they
work
Do you want to describe
They
them?
were regular crime guys and then got exposed to the ooze,
so yeah. So basically,
depending on the content.
so it seems like what happens based off of their origin story in the second movie, The Secret of the Ooze. Shredder
Go Ninja,
and
go
the
Ninja,
and
go,
the Foot
go
Clan
Ninja, go.
weren't successful in taking over Splinter and the Turtles. So basically, he introduces Bebop and Rocksteady as these like ultimate bad guys to fight the Ninja Turtles and hopefully,
Turtles.
yeah,
But also,
hopefully take over.
too, the second movie, we don't actually get Bebop and Rocksteady. We get Toka and Reza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Hey, what's the
It's
name?
because more
But it was, the
the
same, it was almost the same origin in the original cartoon that Shredder just takes two normal guys to make mutants to battle the Turtles because they were always constantly losing. So he wanted to be on the same line front, two strong mutants against the Turtles, thinking that they would beat them, but they were just too fucking retarded.
Yeah. That's what they were all brute and they had no brain.
So now somebody tell me
No
about
brain.
Casey Jones.
Yeah.
So I mean,
'Cause
Oh,
we kind of
so
covered.
we
We,
didn't-
we,
but,
we
can
very loosely said that he was somebody who hangs out with and like knows of the
but
Turtles.
before we go to Casey Jones, because we were talking about Crag and stuff.
Krang.
Sorry, Crag. I'm thinking about the aggro Crag. Fucking spill your guts.
Oh, Guts. I remember. Yeah, that show is awesome.
So yeah.
Does anybody
so
else
do you have
it? Ugh.
Splinter is, I guess, clearly the main antagonist,
Shredder.
and Shredder is the main bad guy, but Krang he kind of is like putting together the I guess behind the scenes and putting the plan together because he is
He's Brainiac.
He's the brain of the operation, but Shredder is very like dismissive of him the whole time, and he always is kind of like beating him down. But he's very much like the brains of everything because Shredder is kind of just like a Neanderthal in his own right.
Yeah. He.
depending on. Yeah.
Depending on continuity.
I love how we have to
Yeah,
end that
'cause
with
in the-
everything. Please support the official release.
Yeah, well, the problem is because now they're like re-release and remake, and everything is like.
But don't you know that's part of the
Expand.
turtle power? Just re-release. For God's
I mean,
sakes,
Yeah.
let's talk about the toy line real fast. All right, how many different versions of the same Ninja Turtle did we have? We had the WWE, we had
700.
the sports, we had the movies ones, we had
Space.
insane.
Well, in the
Samurai.
original
Western.
Playmates, they had 400 about 400 plus different variations of the Turtles.
That's what I mean.
400.
Yeah.
No,
In the original, because you had like
That's how they
baseball
made it. Sold $1 billion
Raphael, different
worth.
Raphael.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's about 100 apiece.
Well, no. It
Yeah.
wasn't just turtles. It was part of the turtle community.
That's not including the tech.
Turtleverse.
Yeah, that's not even
Yep.
including the play sets.
Yeah, the playsets and all the interchangeable stuff with the playsets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a micro machine playsets. Take your shit on the go and lose everything.
Yeah.
But
I had that shit in most everything.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
Yeah, Casey Jones in the original cartoon, he was supposed to be just some vigilante
Yeah.
that happens to stumble across the Ninja Turtles, and they didn't take to him at first, and then eventually they take to him after a while because he was more a Raphael attitude.
But I think he was kind of forced on them by April, because I think him and April have a little like sexual tension that I think they do explore at some point.
Depending on the continuity.
Well, I know that they explore that in the movie.
Yeah, in the movies, yeah. So but I think in the movies, sorry to cut you off, but I think in the movies he's more forced on, like, as like, you know, make him a part of the team because of April.
He's just an angry boy playing hockey, okay? He's just an angry boy playing hockey.
That's why he's my favorite.
Well, that was in the newer version. In the original version, he was just some normal guy who basically became a vigilante.
Yeah.
Because he had a hockey stick, he had a baseball bat, he had different weapons. I had the original action figure. He basically carried around a duffel bag full of fucking shit.
Yep. And it had all sorts of crazy shit in there.
That's what I said. He was just an angry dude playing hockey.
What was his backstory? Didn't somebody I think somebody killed his family or something like that? I forgot what the backstory.
Something happened to his family. They just didn't explain it too much in the original story in the cartoon. I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember anything too much from the comic on him if they actually had him in the comic.
Because I think originally he was not like a normal person, and he had a good job and a solid job, and then I think something happened to his family, and then he went and got his own justice.
Yeah, he basically became Batman.
Yeah.
Just,
with no money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
which is why Batman had a fucking Batmobile and a fucking lair.
Low budget Batman.
Yeah, and he had Central Park and a fucking...
I'm not wearing hockey pants. But I do want to get back to the actual history of it and how Turtles kind of took over. So we get to, I believe it's 97 when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Next Generation or Next Mutation, that's what it is.
Well, we didn't even talk about...
The Saban. Yep. Well, hold on.
We didn't even talk about the third one.
Well,
Turtles in Time.
Well, I'm skipping past the movie.
Yeah, you skipped past the movie.
Because I want to get to a critical point. So, with Mark Friedman and Kevin and Peter, they had this agreement that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird would maintain 100% we have all the rights, we have final say. If we don't like something, we're not doing it. So they more or less peer pressured Peter Laird into releasing Venus, the first female Ninja Turtle, as part of the Next Mutation. And Peter ends up, in 2000, stepping away and selling... No, Kevin...
2009.
Kevin ends up stepping away and selling his part of it because he wasn't, vibing with Peter as much anymore, effectively. They lost their bromance.
Yeah.
And so that happened in 2000. Kevin steps away. And then in 2009... Can I help you?
Apparently, throughout the entire course of the original 1987 animated series, Casey Jones is never seen without his hockey mask, including just showing up with him wearing a business suit with it on.
I remember that.
The action figure, his mask was always on. There was never an action figure without his hockey mask on.
But as I was saying, in 2009, Peter Laird ends up selling the rest of it, while still maintaining the right to have his own up to 12 issues a year. 14 issues a year release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles under Mirage Studios. So he ends up selling it to Paramount, Viacom, whatever you want to call it, Nickelodeon. They're now the controlling rights. They now have everything, effectively.
I think it was Nickelodeon, yeah.
Well, it was Viacom who owned Nickelodeon, which is where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ended up getting plastered onto because they were looking for an action figure toy line, and they just kind of here you go, guys.
Well, that's what kept Nickelodeon afloat all these years, huh?
And then Viacom ends up getting bought out by Paramount, or gets turned into Paramount. And so that's where we are now in terms of the licensing and who owns them. Again, with Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, they're consultants to the...
Are they owned by Disney yet?
No.
Nah.
They're consultants to the IDW, who actually are currently releasing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles along with Mirage Studios. So they're consultants to that, and Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman are allowed to make 14 issues a year under Mirage Studios. There was also, as part of the cartoon, they were releasing with Mirage Studios as well as Archie Comics, their own comic line, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures, based more so on the comics. Now, we can go back and talk about the movies and the cartoon. I just had to get that out there, because this is loosely a history.
Okay. Well, if you actually, if you ever watched the cartoon movie Turtles Forever, it was actually in 2009. And it was basically a crossover between the 1980s version with the original comic book version and the 90s version and the 2000 version. They actually had all the turtles. It was more like a Turtles in Time thing with all the turtles, like a multiverse type of fucking movie, which was actually pretty cool. Because you actually had the comic book versions, and they were actually in black and white. They were like hardcore. They all looked exactly the same, like how you were saying earlier.
So wait, are you saying that Turtles did the multiverse before Marvel?
I wouldn't say before.
They actually had like a multiverse.
Yeah.
And they had like they had a couple different shredders. They had the shredder from the comic book, from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s.
The one without a head? Or the second version of Shredder when he comes back? Shredder 2.
I think it's the second version, and the other stupid version where Shredder's actually a Krang.
Yeah.
Did they have Super Shredder from when he gets mutated in the second movie? No? Oh.
That I actually think is in the new crossover event from the 2012
Interesting.
cartoon. Yeah, they had their own like multiverse movie with that. It was pretty well done.
I want to ask everybody their favorite character. It could be a bad guy, it could be a turtle, it could be Casey, it could be April. I don't care who their favorite is. Let's start with Brian.
I'm gonna go with Leonardo because I always thought he was more of the badass one compared to Raphael, because I think Leonardo had more skill than Raphael than all the other ones. But if I'm gonna go with the bad guy, it would have to be Shredder. But it was in one of the newer cartoon movies, which was Batman versus the Ninja Turtles. They actually made Shredder a badass in that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Because it actually took all 4 Ninja Turtles and Batman to beat Shredder.
Jay?
If I'm going with,
You don't have
you know,
to
your
choose both.
heroes,
You could just
either
choose
Casey
one.
Jones I mean, for like the quote unquote good guys, it'd be between like Raphael and Casey Jones, and for villains, Kyra, Shredder's daughter.
Okay.
Oh shit, forgot about him.
We'll start with D, down at the end. Because I know Garrett wants to answer this.
I'm for the good guys. I'm also gonna go with Leonardo, although I think Splinter's probably close second because I do like the old mentor character.
Okay.
With bad guys, I actually have to go with the dinosaurs, the dinosaur bad guys. Those guys are freaking great. Just all of them.
Okay.
They know who they are.
For good guys, definitely going with either Michelangelo or Casey. They definitely speak to my soul. And then for bad guys, I'm going with Baxter.
Okay. Baxter. Baxter's a good choice.
He's got the robots.
He does have robots.
Which, by the way, was April who initially
Okay.
made them in the original comics for him. So,
Yes,
yeah,
she
April
actually-
was the computer programmer and robotics person in the original.
Yeah, she
I
worked for
hated those
Baxter.
fucking mousers in the fucking video game.
Ah, the
Yes.
Mousers. The fucking Mousers. We didn't even talk about
And
that.
Turtles in Time, I hated those shits.
I'm going to go with Mikey as well because Cowabunga.
Cowabunga it is.
Bunga.
It's pizza time.
Cowabunga says it all.
Cowabunga.
It's
That's one of my
pizza time.
That's one of my favorite memes. Cowabunga it is.
And for bad guys, I'm probably going to go with either Bebop or Rocksteady. They're just funny.
Yeah.
They're just funny to me. I like funny characters. I'm simple. But
I gotta say this: when they redid them in the 2012 cartoon, the redesigns were kind of off, but they at least kind of made them semi-competent while still goofy as fuck.
yeah.
I need a new one of these to empty it into. They're all cracked.
So let's talk about
Sex,
The map-
baby. Let's talk about you.
You've been waiting to use that one.
we'll talk about the movies because we, talked a little bit about movie number 1, movie number 2.
There is movie number 3.
There is movie number 3. Then there's the Michael Bay's. Then there's the cartoons.
Actually, technically, there's a 4th.
there is a 4th.
The one movie is actually technically in the live action continuity. I just can't think which one it is.
Michael Bay's.
No. It was animated. Fuck.
Oh, it was 2000.
I think it
Well, they got a
was
bunch of
I think it was
animated
just.
movies.
I think it was just called TMNT. It was the 2000 TMNT movie.
Oh,
I think.
yeah, the 2000 TMNT.
That
movie.
one was
Yeah.
good. I know that one.
That
That one
wasn't
was
terrible.
good.
Yeah, that
Leonardo
wasn't
gets.
That was
Leonardo Goes to Brazil.
Was that the
Raphael-
first? Was that the first
Yeah.
one that they put out with Nickelodeon as the charge?
I think that was, yeah.
So Nickelodeon in charge was 2009.
But I'm saying that was the first movie they put out.
I don't know.
With them. So
2007. This was a
TMNT,
animated.
that was the movie your brother's talking about. That came out in 2007.
so that was before Nickelodeon.
Just barely.
Yeah, because in 2009, that was Turtles Forever. That was the multiverse one.
So when Nickelodeon came out with
Yeah,
their
that TMNT.
with their version
yeah, that
on,
is technically supposed to be in the live action content. I'm sorry, okay.
so when Nickelodeon came out with their version on Nickelodeon and they made it super cartoony, I know it was meant for like a reboot for kids and stuff, but I could not get into that, and I could not get into the fucking action figures that
Okay,
they put
boomer.
out. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Now they had that new movie out, which looks too kiddish.
This new movie that's coming out.
I've heard
I want
good
to take.
things
I've
about
heard a
it.
lot of good things
I
about
want
it,
to
though.
take some fucking mushrooms, and I want to watch that movie, and the Spider-Man movie.
I still want to watch it, but it looks very kiddish.
it
I-
does, but
I
it looks
agree with you.
trippy.
I mean,
It's
that's
weird,
what they're
'cause-
going for. That's who they're selling it to.
Yeah,
But
this
it's
one-
Kids by choice.
but it has
it's-
gotten a lot of good reviews, though.
It's very Yellow Submarine.
Not my Turtles.
I don't know. It's got that trippy
and
vibe.
I
I'm
don't.
fucking
I
psyched
do
about it.
not give two
I
flying
don't know. The
fucks about the April thing.
1987 cartoon was kind of kiddish.
The what?
I mean,
The 1987 cartoon, I think possibly more kiddish than this new movie, but I haven't seen the new movie yet, so I'll reserve judgment for that later.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the 87 one was kiddish, but because it was toned down a lot from the comic book, but not as toned down as the new movie. It looks too like maybe I think they're trying to make it more too comic-y to me for kids.
I
This-
should
Oh,
note.
so the Marvel.
This one.
I do want to note that we are filming this 2 weeks after it's been released, so none of
haven't-
us have had a chance to see it.
I haven't-
We're
yeah, I haven't
just
seen it.
speculating.
So,
Probably
Brian,
gonna
to
know
your
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
to your point, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like it definitely looks like a comic book came to life, and like just and
They
like
just-
and made the movie like.
I like it when they do that. I loved Into the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse #1. I loved that. I think that they did a fantastic job turning that into what you would imagine a comic book as a movie being. I think that they did a fantastic job with that. I think it might be. I think it might be a touch kiddish, Mutant Mayhem, but I mean, like, come on, that's kind of just in their whole wheelbase.
If this movie does well, I'm calling it right now. I'm kind of glad
it
that
is
you didn't
doing
go down the route of, hey, this is Shredder. And they kind of just established, hey, there's a bunch of different mutants. So I think that's a good call.
I
If this
think
movie
they-
does well,
I think they do.
Yeah,
We
because
lost by Shredder until-
they got to keep things going. They can't keep revolving around Shredder. They got to
Yeah.
keep fucking inventing new people.
Well, they have a whole big old roster of villains to use from.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're
but they're just going to
nuts.
start introducing.
Like I said,
more.
they have dinosaurs for Christ's sakes.
Plus, they could also do different crossovers because, again, they've just been in almost everything. It
I
was
mean,
the 90s and the late 80s. you just couldn't get away from fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles up until about '96 when it started to die out, and that's why they're like, "Hey, new TV series."
I mean,
Yeah, but I think whenever they reboot and make a new series on any cartoon, they're always going to use the original arch nemesis, which either if it's He-Man and Skeletor, fucking Batman and Joker, it's always going to be the Turtles against Shredder.
Oh, it has to.
They'll eventually bring in other villains, but they're always going to bring back the main people.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's no way that they won't bring back Shredder. That's like that's like Superman without Lex. I mean, sure, they can have one about General Zod, look at Man of Steel, but like, you got to bring back Lex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Foot Clan? Because we didn't actually talk about the Foot Clan other than they work for Shredder.
so depending on the continuity, they're the original ninja clan that Splinter belonged to too. If memory serves, or a rival clan, depending.
I think it was a rival clan.
robots.
Some of them are robots, yes, and some they are robots.
Well,
and
in the
some-
cartoon, they were robots that were invented by Krang that were, I guess, programmed by Shredder to be ninjas.
Yeah.
Yes, because we couldn't have cartoon violence.
Of course
Yeah.
not. I mean,
and weren't they in
Cartoons and
the
violence?
in the video game? Weren't they robots?
which video
They
game?
were robots in the video game.
Are we talking about...
The original. The original.
Okay. I do...
The original one came out in 1989. Nintendo was one of the first systems, and it was like Atari and other
Then they had the stand-up.
computer
Brian,
systems.
Brian, you remember the stand-up
What?
one that we used to play at Nathan's? You had the fucking different colors. For
Yeah,
each one.
the arcade game came
The
out in the
arcade?
same
Yeah, that
year
was
in
the best.
1989.
Was that
Yeah.
the beat 'em up one? Where you just had a bunch of enemies that got thrown at you and you just like...
Yeah,
kick,
you kind of
kick,
just
kick.
walked. You just
Yeah. That's
yeah,
the
it was
beat 'em
just
up one.
kick punch,
Yeah.
forward back.
That
yeah.
was more. That was more in the 90s. In the original one, it was like you drove around in a turtle van and you go to different spots, kind of like a Zelda, how Zelda was.
A top-down?
And then you actually play it like it looks more like a Castlevania old school way of fighting. It was like a little Ninja Turtle guy.
Okay. Okay,
Those were the original games. In the 90s, it was more advanced. The ones you're thinking, well, you grab them, you can fucking spin them around, and you get to throw them at the screen and shit.
Yeah, beat 'em up.
Yep.
Which we covered during our
Yeah.
History of Fighting Games episode. The difference between a beat 'em up and a fighting game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Callback. But
Because I had gotten the from my PlayStation 5. They have the Cowabunga collection, which
Cowabunga.
is all the Ninja Turtle. It's all the Ninja Turtle games from the originals all the way up to now.
but
So-
what was your guys' favorite toys?
So actually, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Speaking of toys, the other thing that's driving me crazy is now when you go to Target, they have the Target remakes of the throwbacks of the original. It's like
Yep.
the complete everything is original. They have the orange, like the orange breakaway plastics. They have it's all the freaking like with all the weapons and all that stuff that each one came with, and like it's an exact replica of the reprints. It drives me crazy because every time I see them, I'm like yes, and I'm like oh yeah, these are the remakes.
You know,
and they did that. They did that with He-Man too.
He-Man.
It's driving me crazy.
This new movie, I haven't seen any of like the like no sword or ninja star or Psy toys for that at all.
Yeah, they didn't really put out a toy line to go with this one. That's true.
Well, I
Which
think that
is-
they put out action figures, but not like...
I didn't see him.
So,
Yeah, I don't really see many of those either.
So
I think what he's talking
there
about
are
is there's
toys.
usually like foam swords that people could
Oh,
use to
okay,
beat each
yeah.
other up with, or like
yeah.
things like that. Foam ninja stars and like
Yeah.
wah, throw them at each other type nonsense.
I like
'Cause-
collecting those.
because
love
most toy lines, most things like that, most action figures usually come with like a hey, look, here's a foam sword. Go, fight your friends effectively. I mean, look at Minecraft and
it's
their
on
diamond
Amazon.
sword.
Yo, there's a Minecraft Nerf sword that actually shoots a dart too.
Oh Jesus!
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta repaint it. It's awesome. Shoots a dart and it's a sword.
But being the youngest out of the 5 of us here, I wasn't super into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I kind of like, I grew up with the Next Mutation one, and like it wasn't that great. I was watching other stuff. Pokemon had come about and kind of took over the next generation of craze. Same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh and all that nonsense. They kind of just like the animation boom happened because of Pokemon, and so I did a lot of research because again I didn't grow up with this stuff. I did a lot of research. I tried to anyway, to get as much as this as possible, but it's nuts how big this is. That just kind of like came from a joke.
It is, I think,
And it won't die ever.
It is one of the biggest franchises of all time. It's up there, I think, along
Yes. With like Hello Kitty and Marvel, Spider-Man. Like it's nuts. It is one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. It's been so Peter Laird sold it for $60 million in 2009. And I am sure that he is kicking his ass about how little he sold it for because of how many billions of dollars it's now worth. In 2009, he sold it, and then in 2009, Nickelodeon got $456 million in the first year that they had their own toy line. It's nuts. And I just pulled that number out of my ass. I know that it's like in the $500 million range. 400 some odd, 500 some odd, somewhere in that range.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. It was a drop in the bucket for what he could have gotten. Same thing with Kevin. It's nuts. Like I said, I didn't really grow up with it. I don't have this deep fondness that a lot of you guys have. Just because I'm, the youngest, and again, that was my generation, the Pokemon, the anime generation. But like,
Yeah.
So
I'm sure you remember playing with your turtles and like your younger brother, Brian.
Well, not with Brian, but definitely I played with Ninja Turtles. So just to go back to what Jackson said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the second highest animated franchise, total revenue estimate, $15 billion. Lion King
From the toys.
Lion King is $15.2 billion.
So is that going based off of movies?
That's
Because it
based
also
off
says
overall franchise.
Overall franchise.
Okay.
You want to know what's number one though? Pokemon at 88 billion.
Pokemon.
Who would have guessed? Pokemon.
Mickey Mouse 52, Winnie the Pooh 48, Star Wars 46.
Yeah. We don't have to go down the full list. It's
Call of Duty.
I genuinely I'm genuinely like speechless as to just how nuts this stupid joke is. That's what
I
it started
wouldn't
off with.
say-
I mean, it's a
But
it started off as a
see,
parody
you also
of
got to
Daredevil.
put in. But you also got to put in the time frame. Like it came out in the 80s.
Of course.
Before beepers, cell phones, all this fucking crazy technology. So when you're a little kid growing up in the 80s, it was basically like imagination, hero villains. So even just a simple cartoon. So it's like how you're saying it was just like a stupid idea, mutant turtles, they're fighting, they have ninja skills, they're fighting a guy named Shredder. Oh, fucking looks cool. I want to be a turtle. Like, that was the shit back then. Nowadays, like how you said, how you grew up with Pokemon. By the time Pokemon came out and shit, kids already had some kind of basis of video game systems. Cell phones were fucking coming out. Now you can fucking play on Game Boys, all this other shit. Like,
But
even when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, like I don't know if Garrett
Yu-Gi-Oh.
remembers when we were counselors. Like, kids had their fucking cell phones, little fucking game systems. They had the games on cell phones and shit, trying to fucking, we get walking around the street trying to catch a Pokemon. Like, everything now revolves around technology, and there is no real imagination anymore. Back then, it just took a simple idea, boom, it's out there, and kids fucking hooked on it so quickly because we lived on imagination back then. So it was easiest to get hooked on stuff like, Ninja Turtles, He-Man, or G.I. Joe.
I was gonna say, compared to those guys, it's nuts to me though how a Ninja Turtle compared to like He-Man or G.I. Joe, who also had like super extravagant heroes and villains on their own right.
I mean, I think it's great though. I think the idea of the turtle, and I think it being a ninja and it being a teen, I think it actually it actually speaks more to a preteen or like somebody like an earlier adolescent or something.
Yeah.
I think because like to Brian's point, the imagination, the wanderlust type thing, like they're like, oh shit, like this turtle came to life. They're like, yo, I could, like that speaks to the imagination of a kid. They're like, yo, this thing came to life and it's kicking ass and it's cool as shit, and it's a ninja. And, who doesn't love ninjas as a kid? You always grow up like karate's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like always like jumping around trying to do karate kicks and stuff. Even if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you're still like, yeah, high kick, sorry. Sorry, I just banged the table. But I think the fact that it was a turtle, I think it helped play to the imagination of a kid, and it helped kind of battle against like the GI Joes and the He-Mans, which were just maybe just a beefed up human or just a not to take away from GI Joe, who's a American hero, but
A real American hero.
I don't know. I just
realist.
think just a turtle, to see a turtle like come to life and like I don't know, just as a kid is super fucking cool, and I think that's
Now-
what helped grow it.
Yeah, I agree
Now-
with that.
Now I do have to ask. Because of Ninja Turtles, we had a wide array of knockoff turtle-like TV shows and toys. What was your favorite and what was your worst? What was the worst? Just something, that was...
Street Sharks.
Street Sharks was your favorite?
Street Sharks.
The favorite knockoff.
I remember.
Yep.
I remember that.
As we established, I think was Vin Diesel's first acting role. Was there a Street
Yep.
Shark commercial?
All right, so Jay's favorite was Street Sharks. What do you think was the worst knockoff?
Also Street Sharks, but if I have to choose something different.
No, it's fine. Brian, what about you? What do you think was your favorite?
I can't think of nothing right now but
I know,
Street
I'm looking-
Sharks. I'm like, holy shit, I remember that cartoon.
What about Biker
Wait,
Mice
hold
from
on,
Mars?
hold on.
I'm looking them
Like,
up because
Mom.
I can't even think of any.
I can't remember for shit.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Battletoads?
Samurai,
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Samurai Pizza,
Battletoads.
Samurai Pizza Cats, Extreme Dinosaurs,
SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats?
Battletoads,
SWAT
No,
Cats,
SWAT Cats is
that
not
wasn't
wait,
really like...
wait.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Yes, I already said that. No, I got one for you guys. The Mighty Ducks cartoon.
The Mighty Ducks cart. Oh my god.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the worst one. Even though Mighty Ducks, I love the fucking movie, but that was
There's
Yeah.
3 of those movies too. I think 4 now.
Can
But I
make...
think the Toad one, actually, that's that's basically a 100% rip-off of the Ninja Turtles.
Can I make an argument for the show Gargoyles?
Gargoyles.
I would say
The
that it
show,
was.
the cartoon Gargoyles?
I would say that it's a combination of a Turtles ripoff and a Batman the Animated Series ripoff.
Actually, I like the Gargoyles.
I'm
They're
not
supposed
saying
to come out with a live-action
Cyborgs?
movie.
I'm not saying anything bad about Gargoyles. I loved that shit when I was
But
growing up.
Gargoyles was awesome.
I
Do you
loved
know
that
what
shit.
show
They're
actually
supposed to
was
come
the
out with a movie.
Do you know what show actually was the
There's supposed to be a
genesis for Gargoyles,
live-action
though?
movie coming out.
That's cool. I'd watch that.
Roadrunners?
Gummy
Oh,
Bears.
Road Rovers.
Road Rovers.
No joke. The
Toxic Crusaders.
Gummy Bears cartoon
Toxic
was why we got
Crusaders.
Gargoyles.
Street Sharks, number 1. Street Sharks was pretty badass, but also pretty fucking lame at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but come on. But
Yeah, Street Sharks was like, how like if like your friends all were shopping at Toys R Us and your mom went to fucking 99-cent store and was like, here, play with these.
we have Teenage Mutant Ninja
Cheap
Turtles
Johns.
at home. Teenage
yeah,
Mutant
yeah,
Ninja
cheap
Turtles
John.
at home.
Yeah, cheap John. Exactly. Yep. Your mom went to
I was
cheap
going to
John's.
say Steve Johns.
Yeah, that's what I was playing with. Fucking like the sharks.
5 and Dime
Yeah.
Store.
I definitely had some Battletoads.
A 5 and dime store. Jesus Christ. Do you know how many people don't even know what that is anymore?
Do you know for a while 4chan had a
For
thing
my
where you'd call
first
up
six string.
you'd call up the Gold and Silver Pawn Store asking for Battletoads?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and sometimes they'd actually get Rick
I
on
worked
the
for
line.
GameStop. That was a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did it to Gold and Silver Pawn.
But I loved Gargoyles. That shit was my jam.
The Gargoyles
So-
was the shit.
I think
I love that cartoon, man. That was a really good cartoon.
Like I said,
I'm surprised
I'm not
IBW
knocking it at
Comics
all.
hasn't done a crossover yet.
They started introducing like gargoyles from like other areas too, like the Japanese ones with the samurai armor and shit.
Yeah.
what was the other show that was similar to Gargoyles that came out around that same time?
Oh, there's a few.
Bro, I was like
Mummy's
2.
Alive?
I was like 2.
Oh,
Mummy's Alive.
Mummy's alive?
No, but didn't
Yep.
Darkwing Duck or
And then he
something
had a
have?
mighty-
Oh, Darkwing Duck was the shit.
Yeah, didn't Darkwing Duck or
Oh,
something have?
Darkwing Duck was supposed to be
I
a
am the
spin-off
terror
from
that flaps in the night.
DuckTales.
No, but what had
Life is like a-
didn't one of those shows have gargoyles that came to life that crossed over?
I don't know if there was a crossover. I know that Hunchback of Notre Dame had gargoyles that came to life.
Yeah, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think so.
Darkwing Duck, that was just a continuation of
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Oh, woo!
Because you had Gizmo Duck was also on Darkwing Duck.
DuckTales.
Woo! Oh wait,
Life
wait, wait.
is like a hurricane here in.
No, Simmons.
Wait. Do you know Jackson?
You know
has
they came
a
out.
parody
You know
of
they
that for
came
Space
out with a
Sharks?
second series of DuckTales, right?
Did they really? Oh yeah, they did. Were they? It was actually not that bad.
It actually was pretty. It actually was pretty good. I watched it.
God, the Japanese
Good.
fucking gargoyles.
I think this is a good place to call it. Next
Wait,
episode.
wait. We can't call it.
Waiting. Actively waiting.
We have not said a single thing about Vanilla Ice.
Go
doing
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
The
Go
theme
Ninja,
song
go.
for the Secret of the Ooze. And I can't imagine that we're gonna have this whole entire episode for about an hour and a half and not even sing that song at all, or talk about the fight that happened between Vanilla Ice and the person that.
Go ahead. Talk about it. Talk about it.
So as the story goes, apparently there was a fight between one of the one of the people that was playing the character.
One of the stuntmen.
One of the stuntmen that was playing one of the Ninja Turtle characters and the crew from Vanilla Ice during the shooting of the video for the Go Ninja video, Ninja Turtles theme song. But that being said, I brought that up because I think that Vanilla Ice's best song is the
Go Ninja,
fucking
go Ninja, go.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Because if anybody can else prove to me another song that's better than that, go.
I do want to say though, because now that we're talking about theme songs, the initial Teenage Mutant Ninja cartoon theme song is fantastic.
It is.
And-
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
fun fact, the spoken parts that are just kind of like little background voices, that's Chuck Lorre, the guy who created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and later became more famous because of 2.5 Men.
Manly man.
But that was Chuck Lorre.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
By the way,
Teenage
Heroes in a
Shredder.
half shell.
as everybody knows,
Did you also know Corey
What's up?
Feldman actually voiced character Donatello in the live-action movie?
Yes, and Paul. Fuck, I'm gonna get so much hate for myself from this. The guy that ends up voicing Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, lovely show by the way.
great
Uh,
show.
He voices.
Oh shit! They're supposed to be coming out with that cartoon again.
Oh,
He-
sweet.
He voices. I think it's Mikey, and in the new, like the current ongoing,
In the nude?
in the new current ongoing
I thought you said
TV show, he voices Donatello, I believe.
And as we all
Nice.
know, James Avery was the voice of Shredder. The guy who played Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was.
R.I.P. to that guy.
Yes.
It was just so good. All right.
All right.
Do we come back for an episode 2 where we actually talk about
Absolutely.
like the story of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and not just about them?
And we could talk about the toys, some of the toys.
Yeah,
we
that's
had,
like a fun.
favorite toys. Because I don't think anybody answered what their
Yeah.
favorite toy was.
No, not one
whatever,
person.
Not one person.
whatever weapon they have.
All right, quick, 30 seconds. Favorite toy.
I just said mine.
Sure.
Shredder Troy transforming Shredder that transforms into the Technodrome tank.
Sweet.
Brian?
Turtle Van.
Turtle Van's sick, yeah. I'm gonna go with the Krang.
You're going to go with Krang?
Yeah. That fucking thing was cool as shit. But
I like the ones that flung the pizzas, and then, like I said, any of the weapons.
I don't think I ever had a turtle toy. But based off of how they appeared, I would probably go with the Technodrome as well. It just
Technodrome
looks
is pretty
cool.
sick.
It's like a Death Star knockoff.
Do they have a Hellraiser one? Pretty sure they had a Hellraiser one.
I'm pretty sure we can convince a Troy company to make one.
Hellraiser X Mutant Turtles.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Shredder Pinhead. Oh, that'd be
Does
awesome.
does anybody remember the robot turtle's name?
The robot turtle?
Wasn't it a Turtlebot?
I don't remember.
That
Not
would
sure.
sound like something they would do.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that little short animated movie they did where they had the. In
Oh,
the future.
I just looked it up. He was called Metalhead.
Metalhead. That
Yeah,
also
sounds
seems
about
like
right.
something they would do.
Did anybody see that short that Nickelodeon? I think it was Nickelodeon. One of them put out where they. It was in the future, and they had the Ninja Turtles as like mech suits.
Future.
That
Yeah.
that was a pretty cool short.
All right.
I wonder if they did anything else with that.
Like I said, I think we'll have a episode 2. This was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely was.
Good night, people.
Good night, all. Thank you for
Good
listening.
Good
Yeah, all
night.
right. Good night.
Heal, you love you, dude. Feel better.
Thank you
Love
for
you too.
thank you for being on.
Thank
Good night.
you for having me on.
Right?
All right. See you in the future.